Next time I will have to create something far more competent. I think I will take these idiots from comics and chronic, uncreate them, make something new, better.
Cody, weren't you saying remind you that you had some crazy dreams this week?
Yeah,
why don't you talk about that? Let's hear about your crazy.
So I started doing this weird thing where just because we've been reading these books, I've started doing this thing where I've made sure right before I go to sleep, one of the last thoughts that I have is, okay, I'm going into the dreaming. And this is it. You know what I mean? And every time I did that, I had the craziest, most vivid dreams I've had in a really long time. I don't know, if it's just the stories being so imaginative and sparking my imagination and being immersed in them. I don't know if it's because I took that weed break that we talked about, and I just haven't been smoking as much since then, mostly because I'm poor.
But sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I was saying in the first episode. Whenever I dream when I smoke, but I know that I should be dreaming way more, and when I stop smoking, the same thing happens to me. I have crazy vivid dreams.
Yeah. So I wasn't, but it's crazy because maybe the days I was on tour, I wasn't having crazy vivid dreams, but the days basically after our last recording about Shang-Chi, for some reason, as I was rapidly reading these books every night before sleep, I would say, and I would see people in my dreams that I haven't talked to in ages, and or just have really weird out there dreams. It was honestly really cool and something that I'm I don't know, these books have inspired me. I want to start paying more attention to my dreams, maybe even start a little bit of a dream journal.
Yeah, that is definitely the best way to remember the details of your dreams and start to see what's repeating and what your mind is trying to tell you basically.
Yeah.
Facts.
I just feel it'll be good for me. I feel I have always had really imaginative dreams, so I really want to start recording it.
Yeah, no, that I was saying, that's the way to remember them. I was reading that dreams, the more you remember them, the more you're gonna encounter similar ideas. And apparently in dreams, whatever's in your dreams is some part of you or your personality.
The Corinthian is a part of me.
No, right, yeah. So that if you encounter something in your dream that's kind of oh, you don't like it or it scares you, the best thing to always do is to try to figure out why, try to have a conversation with it. If you could get that deep in control of your dreams, I'm not saying that's easy or possible, but if you keep a dream journal, it will be. Cody will become the dream master.
Oh, the shaper, Lord Shaper.
Dude, yeah.
I like that the fairies call Morpheus Lord Shaper.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I feel the series wrapped up in such a it really tied all of the ends. You know what I mean? Brought everything together. It was beautiful. I literally while reading The Wake, I literally was moved to tears.
Yeah, it's a pretty emotional ending. You stuck with Morpheus. I mean, we read it in a couple months, but if you were reading just one arc alone, the kindly ones, that lasted over a year. So if you were reading Sandman from the start, you're with him for a long time. Yeah. I can only imagine how that felt for someone reading it month to month,
Yeah. So, World's Edge, we all agreed that it
World's
was a
Edge.
Edge. No, sorry, that's a winery. I said World's Edge because that's an Australian winery that Outback gets their wine from.
Or this giant complex that Cody invented where you just go there and have a good time with your bros. It's called the World's Edge.
I like that idea.
You would like to edge with your bros, wouldn't you?
Edge Lord. Well, we might as well intro it in the meantime since we haven't done that. Welcome back to the final week of Sandman September. That'll debut in October because that's how we roll. We'll be covering volume 8, 9, and 10, I guess. The finale of Neil Gaiman's run on the Sandman. It was awesome. If we're going to start with volume 8, I got to say I loved volume 8. Like while reading it, I was like, this is cool. Each story was cool. I loved the fact that like it was just like this random fucking place with all these creatures, the centaur, the fucking Chloroclan, the drunk fairy. Like it was, I don't know. Those were cool stories, honestly.
Yeah, I really liked it. I like the whole setup, how everyone is in a tavern and they're stuck and they're just trading stories during like a huge storm. It's a reality storm. Don't want to get caught in one of those.
No, definitely not. But yeah, no, I thought volume 8 was one of the stronger ones, especially because like we covered what 5, 6, 7. I don't know if I thought those ones were as strong as these last 3.
No, definitely not. This was one of the strongest. I mean, it ended on such a strong note. And like Cody was saying before, it kind of like pulled all the strings together, tied up all the loose ends. And like,
yeah,
even like it brought back characters. And I was reading about this in like a Neil Gaiman interview. He's like, throughout like the volumes, like a lot of times when, you know, we're away from characters for a while, he'll reintroduce them and make sure you remember who they are and what they're all about. But when you get to the kindly ones, which is volume 9, sorry. But when you get to that one, like he doesn't remind you about Rose or anybody like that. You got to remember who they are.
Or Hippolyta. Yeah, because that's in like what, volume 3 when he's like, I'll come back for the baby one day.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And she remembers that the instant she loses him.
Yeah, you're right. That's cool. That volume 9 was really good. It was a thick one.
Thick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 13 motherfucking issues.
Yeah, it took me a while to like, I had to like actively drink coffee and blast through it. Just because, so reading comics, reading anything in a good way, like actually puts me to sleep, to be honest. Like I'll get so in a Zen state when I'm reading that I like will ultimately just knock out. And then so like, because it was such a thick volume, I was like, fuck, I got to drink a coffee. But it was awesome. I loved the remaking of the Corinthian.
Yeah.
I loved 9. I thought the story was brilliant. I thought the way they brought it together was brilliant. But I was really upset with, and not even upset. I thought the art was great, but it was so jarringly different from every other volume that it took me till about halfway through 9 before I even like started to really enjoy it.
Huh.
I get what you mean about the art.
I enjoyed the story pretty much as soon as 9 started.
Yeah. But I
the story, I agree. But I'm just saying, like, the art was almost like upsetting to me. It was like way more cartoony especially for such a brutal volume.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know. And people at the time were pissed too. I was reading about that. So like people were mad that it looked like that. They're like, are you kidding me? Like, but the 10th volume is the complete opposite. Yeah. It's like super realistic and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm pretty sure Neil Gaiman purposely, like that guy isn't a bad artist. It's just like you're saying, Cody, it's a different cartoonish style compared to what we've seen. And that change is so different. And it kind of feels right when you get to volume 10 that it feels so much more realistic.
Yeah. The art is insane in 10, like so insanely, like which is perfect for the wake because they did such a good job at capturing emotion.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It was a cool reveal that the witch woman was the love affair that pissed him off and sent him hunting for his brother.
Yeah, it was, what's her name? Thessaly?
Oh, yeah.
And see, like she changes her name in this one too. Like that threw me off. That's what I'm saying. Like Neil Gaiman did not remind me who Thessaly was, even though we just read about her. And like you're saying, right, like he was moping around in a couple volumes back, and I just assumed it was about Nuala, but you're right, like it was about someone completely different who we didn't know. Like he didn't say who it was.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck about Nuala, really.
Yeah, at this point.
But yeah, dude, the 9 was crazy. What did you guys think of the Furies?
I liked him. I thought that whole, like, when Hippolyta is walking around losing her mind, and you see, like, the Medusa snakes in her head. Like, I liked all of that shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was cool watching her descent into madness.
Yeah.
Poor Carla, she got baked.
Dude, R.I.P. Carla.
Yeah, well, she discovered the secret, and Loki and Puck were like, no.
Dude, yeah, I like that Puck came back. I actually forgot that Loki was even, like, I guess he was in when they tried to get the key to hell. But I think I forgot that. Like, I think I forgot that he, like, dipped out. But when I saw
Morpheus
Puck,
let him go, yeah,
but then Puck was like, "Hoo, like, let's burn this child alive." And I was like, "Damn, like, this shit is like, it was brutal." I felt so bad that the kid actually died.
He died, not really,
then,
because they were just like burning off like his immortality, basically.
Yeah, still,
or whatever.
Sure, it hurt him on some level.
Yeah, but I mean, he dies, but just like Dream, is he really dead, or is he just changed?
That's true.
You know, that's like, I felt like the whole
It
theme.
is his son, right? Yeah.
No, it's not his son.
Hippolyta.
Daniel isn't his son.
I thought Daniel is Morpheus' son.
No, he was just born. I guess he kind of is.
He says,
"Yeah, he is of the Dreaming.
It is his
son. Yeah, he's of the Dreaming, but he's not
sure.
actually like impregnated by Morpheus."
True, but at the same time, we learn in these volumes that Morpheus is like him and the Dreaming are one and the same. He's just an aspect.
He says the Dreaming is an aspect, like, or he's an aspect of the, or vice versa, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So in a way, he is kind of his creation.
Yeah. So like at first you said it, I was like, no, but then it's like, well, technically, yeah, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Lyta doesn't see him that way. She sees Morpheus as the reason for Daniel being burned alive. Yeah. She literally sees a picture of him burned as like was that real though? Like, cause he wasn't, I guess it was, cause he was in a fireplace.
He was, you do see Puck.
I think it was more of a trick played by Loki.
Could be.
Yeah, but I don't think they killed Daniel. You know what I mean? I think they just kind of, like you were saying, burned away his mortality. I think that picture was more of just like a illusion, like many placed by Loki.
Like the detectives, those guys weren't even real.
Well, it was like Loki and Puck undercover.
Yeah. That sounds like a great like TBS cop show. Like Loki and Puck undercover.
Isn't it crazy to think about how Morpheus, this Loki and Puck were acting under Morpheus's instructions?
Yes.
Wait, were they?
No,
what do you mean?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
Yes, because when Morpheus let Loki go, he said, "You're going to owe me. I'm going to put a figment of the Dreaming there, and you're going to owe me." And so he did this because he knew the Furies were going to come for him because he killed his son.
See, the thing is that there's a line. I agree with you to a point, but there's a line where Loki, like, I don't remember the exact line, but it's like the last thing Morpheus says to Loki is like, "Okay, you're free to go, but don't don't." I don't know exactly what he says, but he's like, "Don't do anything mischievous or anything like that." And Loki's like, "Yeah, of course." But then when we get the reveal that Loki was the cop the whole time, he's like, "Oh," he kind of repeats the line in a sarcastic way. So that made me think he's like, "Fuck you, Morpheus. I am gonna, fuck shit up." That's how I read it, at least. But I get what you're saying, Cody, because in the same sense, like, this whole thing is like, is Morpheus kind of like setting up his own dominoes? Or is he just that oblivious to everything that he's like getting back into a corner? I feel like we totally skipped over volume 8.
We did, considering there's a billion stories in volume 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Volume 8 was super cool.
What was your favorite story in volume 8?
I'm trying to think.
I kind of like the ship story with Hob and the girl.
Yeah, I like that one too. My least favorite was the Necropolis story. I just didn't get it. Like the city.
Yeah, it was. Story. Necropolis was a lot. It was like First off, like
all their names were like, hey, Klaproth and Clip Clappin'.
Yeah, the names are hard to remember.
I was like, all right, dude. Like, these names.
Yeah, Necropolis was crazy. So the story is about stories being told within, like, I don't know. It was like an inception of The Dreaming.
Total inception.
Yeah, especially that story. That story had stories within stories within stories, like legit.
Yeah, that one was just like kind of slow. I didn't give a fuck Necropolis. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
I'm over them.
Weird dead people and their weird dead lives.
Yeah.
So apparently, like Neil Gaiman says that whatever they talk about, like the death customs of the different cultures, that he got that from real life. Like he's not making any of that up.
Like different death
yeah, so like, you know how they were talking about like if someone dies in your family or something, like once you're done with everything, you don't wash your hands, and the first meal you have, it makes it taste better. He said that he got that from like ancient Tibet or something like that.
Whoa.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet.
I don't know. I'm washing my hands if I'm dealing with a dead body before I bite into a nice juicy burger.
I feel like this might surprise people, but I wash my hands a lot.
I mean, I would hope so. You literally work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, you could kill people if you don't wash your hands.
But wait, why did you preface that with, this might surprise people?
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know.
Do you think it's in the rumor mill that Cody Cannon does not wash his hands?
No, I think it's more of just that I'm a chaotic person. And so, like, people are like, he's really diligent about washing his hands.
I think you're chaotic, but I never took you for like unhygienic.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You know, although today, I'm assuming you just got out of the shower, your hair looks greasy.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Just showered.
Okay. So no, I never mistook you for a dirty fuck. At least not in that sense.
Dirty fuck.
Mean, you are a dirty fuck, but in a different Cody did give an entire town scabies though, which is a great story.
Yeah. I did.
I do exaggerate it to town when I tell it. Next it's going to be a country like Cody gave a small island country Ebola.
But yeah, I did love the Hob. Man, Hob ended up being one of my favorite characters in the book.
Yeah, he would be, wouldn't he?
Why?
Because what we learned about Hob is pretty fucked up.
What?
We learned that he was
once a slaver.
He was a slave trader. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely fucked up. But he listened to Dream, and I feel like he redeemed himself.
Yeah, but like, damn, like the way he describes it, he's like, oh, you can make a profit off of one ship. So if you were traveling from England and you saw like the Royal Guard coming your way, you would just let one slave loose, and they would all fall into the ocean and drown because they were all chained together.
Yeah,
that's so fucked up.
So fucked up. Yeah, that's nightmarish.
It's too much for me. It's too much for me that Hob did that. Like, I loved him up until that point, and I'm like, damn, Hob, you lost me. I'm sorry.
We're talking about the dude who lives forever, right?
Yeah, Hob Gadling.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was fucked up.
I mean, I agree. I'm not saying it wasn't fucked up, but I'm just saying, like, I liked his character. I liked his arc.
You could tell that he was remorseful of having done such a heinous thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It also seems like low-key a very unrealistic thing to do business-wise, because that's a lot of money you just threw in the ocean.
But according to him, like, it was like so lucrative that it didn't matter. Like, it's fucked up. Like that. I maybe it's just something Neil Gaiman is making up at that point. I really don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's like
realistically, like slaves were a lot of money. Like, you
right. But I think it maybe highlights the point even more that it's like so inhumane that inhumaneness.
You're right. For sure. You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. But I did love Hob. I still stand by my love for Hob. He's my boy.
I didn't love Hob. He was actually like, even without the slaver thing, he was kind of just a pathetic character.
Really?
I thought he was pathetic. He was yeah.
Oh, I liked him.
I wouldn't call him pathetic, but yeah, I liked, like, I don't know, like, I just like that he was the guy to be like, I'm not gonna die, and Dream and Death were like, okay, you're just the guy that's not gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Do you think in that way Hob made himself like, okay, you know how you have like Lucian and Matthew and the pumpkin dude, like, or at least
Merv.
Yeah, Merv. Yeah. So. All right, this might be more applicable to Matthew and Lucian, but do you think in a way Hob has now made himself one of Morpheus's like Dream characters.
I think it was more of just he's one of Dream's friends.
Yeah.
I don't think Dream has friends. He was like...
He did. He even called Hob his friend.
That's
Did
like
he?
the closest he does have to a friend, I would say.
is Hob.
Yeah.
That's true.
But the thing is, like, between them, it's like, so like as a whole, now I could like look at Sandman throughout every fucking volume we read, and like things that didn't seem to matter start to like pile up. Like Morpheus is a sad dude, right? He doesn't have friends. He doesn't really want to get close to anybody, whether it's like relationships with women or friendship, you know, or family. He's just like, leave me alone. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, follow the rules and do what I have to do, and I don't have time for any of this stuff. And even with Hob, like they're friends, sure, but like it's like, oh, let's see each other every 100 years. Like that's a great friendship, right?
Yeah, but when you span eons,
that's true. 100 years is the equivalent of like when we
a drop
Cody
in the
go,
bucket.
Like 3 years without seeing each other. Yeah,
I guess, yeah, but not for Hob. Like every time they meet up, he's like, "Damn, that fucking sucked." Like I like this time period.
Like, he's pathetic, but he keeps going through with it. Like I don't know if it makes him strong to like stick with his like sad decision that he makes to live forever.
I like that. No, I like the way you just said that, because that's again reminds me of Morpheus. Like he has to decide whether to change or keep sticking with his sad decisions.
Yeah, Morpheus is in many not overall, but sometimes he's a weak-willed person. Like he's always like, it's up to you. What do you want to do? Like when Clan comes to bring his sister back. And he asks, and then she even like gets sad when she goes back to Fairy, and she's like, he didn't care whether I wanted to stay or go.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, these are the Eternals. They don't give a fuck about like, they're not threatened by like our plane of existence. You know what I mean? Like we have to
Not
worry.
at all.
Like, are we going to get hit by a car? They don't think like that. They're just not like us.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's like that's a detail that comes into play in Morpheus's death, right? Like because he decides to go with her to Fairyland because she has a boon, he's out of the dreaming, and therefore he's now at risk to being killed by the Furies.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the thing, like, is Morpheus just like setting up his own downfall? He knows by going there, he's going to get fucked up.
I think that he is. That's why I bring up the whole Loki thing, because he knows the Furies are going to come. He knows he has to pay for the choices there's consequences for his actions.
How can the Furies harm him again? Like, why are they able
because
to?
Because he killed his son.
So that
Morpheus.
makes him vulnerable?
They're a force of nature that they're basically vengeance embodied.
But is that stronger than one of the 7 Endless?
It's not that they're stronger. It's like a rule, and Morpheus is all about rules.
And they're not killing him. They're destroying everything around him that he loves.
That's true.
Yeah.
They don't, because they say we don't kill.
Yeah.
But they're destroying everything that he cares about and everyone.
Yeah. Also, they like at the very beginning of Sandman in Volume 1, when we get the Furies, they predict this. They know it's going to happen. Like, it's fate.
It's fate. Not even the Endless are free of fate.
Yeah, seriously. Exactly. And actually, when it's so weird too in Volume 10, where like the Endless make like a dude to get like the sacraments for the funeral.
What was his name? Eblis O'Shanagan or whatever?
Yeah, Ebis O'Shaughnessy or some shit like that. The most Irish name ever.
Yeah, they just made an Irishman. Like, we need someone of strong will to get us.
No, dude, it's because they gave Delirium the choice of naming him, and so of course she picks something totally off the walls.
Yeah. But like there's a part where he goes to get something, and the narration's like, even the Endless, don't question this far. Like there's stuff beyond them that like we don't even know about. But no, what was another story I liked in Volume 8? The Prez story.
Yeah.
That one was cool. With Mr. Smiley.
Yeah, Mr. Boss Smiley.
Boss Smiley,
there you go.
Yeah.
That
was one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, right?
That
might have been my favorite in Volume 8, to be honest.
Yeah, it was really cool. It felt really relevant because
I like Forrest Gump, honestly.
And but it felt really relevant just because it has to do with politics and how like the political system is broken and corrupts people and all of this other stuff, which is like, I mean, maybe me just cherry picking ideas. And
no, that's what it's about. He's not Republican or Democrat. He's like a kid that's like, you guys are all fucking up. I think it's something we could all relate to.
Yeah.
And Prez is like a really obscure DC character from the 1970s that like Jack Kirby made.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like super obscure. But I loved how in his universe, fucking he hosted SNL and John Belushi was just like, you changed my life.
Died if it wasn't for Prez.
Well, that's because, you know, what's his name hosted SNL? God, I'm going to get the name. I feel like we're going to get the president. It's either, what's his name? Reagan or hosted SNL during the first season. So it would have been John Belushi, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, all them. That's what that like is from.
Really?
That part of in Prez's story, the president of the United States.
Oh shit! I thought it was just like a random ass thing. Okay, that makes way more sense.
I mean, John Belushi didn't say that. They were actually really anti. I'm pretty sure it's Ronald Reagan. Don't hold me to that name, but the president of the United States.
Ronald Reagan was the actor.
Yeah, so it probably would be him.
And well, it might have been Jimmy. Was it Jimmy Carter?
It might have been Jimmy Carter. Honestly, you're probably right about that. Look it up because either way, the president hosted and SNL because they were like this young new kids on the block, like the descendants of like the new hippie generation. They were anti this dude being on.
Oh, Gerald Ford. That's
there
who
we go.
It was,
Gerald
Jake.
Ford hosted.
All right, that definitely puts it into perspective. That's crazy. I thought it was just like a random thing, but that's a great detail.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he changed John Belushi's life. He made the world better. Like I know that much.
Neil Gaiman is like so good at like mixing real life fantasy and into this universe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Even times when you don't realize it, like he's too smart beyond me to like, you know, he definitely has chock full of like literary references that we never read and plays from, you know, back in the day that we've never seen, but you know, it's in there
he's
in
just
some
a smart motherfucker.
Yeah.
Probably one of the smartest people to ever write a comic book.
He had the balls to write like the last issue, not the balls, but like the last issue of the Sandman is from Shakespeare's perspective.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty crazy.
The last issue, those issues were both really the two, and then the one from the perspective of the advisor that was lost in the desert. Both of those, like the two post-wake issues, were really crazy. Were like super, like honestly, the whole series is very like insightful and like almost if indirectly, but probably directly, like offers like lots of good life and heart and soul advice throughout the entire series, but especially like the volume of The Wake.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because like whenever Neil Gaiman is talking about dreams, he's really talking about like life. And like a lot of times he's also talking about like story, you know, a big thing about Sandman is like stories and like he talks the last time he talks to, or the last thing we hear from Hobb is like, oh, how did the story end? He's like, oh, it had a happy ending. Like all good stories should, you know, like the best stories end, you know, they don't keep going on forever and ever. They have to end. And we all love endings that are happy. Like it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
True. Speaking of gratifying endings, just to veer off on a little tangent here, or at least I want, you saw Venom 2, right?
Oh yes,
I did not.
No, but you did. Are we gonna do a Venom episode? Is it worth? Honestly, the movie sucked. I don't feel like doing a whole episode on it.
Yeah, that's why I said if we just talked about
hour, except for the post-credit scene.
Yeah, I was gonna. No, that's why I said if we did a Venom episode, it would be cool if we just talked about Venom in general. That way, we don't have to necessarily keep talking about the movie, just because Venom is cool besides the movie. But yeah, that I don't know. I don't think enough people. I don't know. Like, I don't want to spoil it for Cody.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me. I'll fucking stab you in the neck.
The movie's not that good. Also, people I know don't give a fuck. They're like, dude, spoil it for me. I was like, all right, I'll tell you what happens. And then they're like, oh. But yeah.
We can't spoil it for Cody.
We'll
talk about it.
We'll talk about it another time.
In privito.
Yeah, call each other or something, bitches.
Maybe we will. Know what I heard? If we are going to take a quick detour, I heard that Marvel is making an Echo. You guys know the character Echo?
No.
So Marvel's making an Echo TV show. Echo's this character that's in, like, she was introduced in like the Daredevil universe.
Okay.
And apparently according to this rumor over the weekend, a
Oh,
big
Echo,
chunk
the
of
blind dude who teaches him.
No, that's Stick.
Oh, Stick.
Echo's deaf. She's deaf. That's like her thing. Like
I watched Daredevil. I don't remember no deaf chick in it.
She wasn't in Daredevil in the comics.
Oh, in the comics. Oh, okay.
But Disney, there's going to be a Disney Plus series, Echo, and most of it's going to be about Echo.
The same cast as Daredevil.
The same cast as Daredevil, and a step further, they're planning a Daredevil TV show. It hasn't been announced yet, but these are the big rumors that came out this weekend.
Nice. Well, dude, hopefully, man.
If we're getting all those actors back, it's going to be great. They're a great cast.
They were great. It was a great cast.
Yeah, I'm down.
But man, fuck it. I had a transition and I fucking lost it because it's fine. It's fine. I want to get back to The Dreaming because we covered a lot of territory in these volumes.
Facts.
So we talked about I didn't really like Clarukin's story that much either.
No, it was forgettable.
Oh, like his story that he told? Yeah. His arc, though, throughout these volumes are pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see the final battle between him and the stag.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just pukes up a nemesis out of his body.
They're like, damn, dog, you just made your own nemesis. And he's like, what? That's what happened. We told you not to. Dude, it's so crazy. Like they did tell him not to go off the path, and he did it. But it's like, dude, for what you think are such minor infractions, the consequences are so dire.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's cool. Speaking of dire consequences, though, when Dream died, the people who were suffering because of him, all of their ailments ended.
Right. They lost power.
The old man woke from the eternal waking.
Yeah.
The dude who he does in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dude who couldn't stop telling stories or whatever, he finally got his sanity back.
It's like, I guess now that you say it, Morpheus leaves a trail of damaged people behind.
Yeah.
All through his selfish, petty decisions. Whether it's he punished those people rightfully, but he also sent his love to hell for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
He's just mad petty.
They do throughout the series talk about him as being self-absorbed. And there's the Lord Shaper or the teller of stories or something like that. I feel like you probably would have to be a little bit.
Yeah, let's think about Shakespeare at the end and the very last issue. He's talking to his wife and they're basically having a conversation of how all he does is write these stories. He has no time for the real world or his family. He's so absorbed in telling the stories, but that's the life of a dreamer. Basically, you're alone. And again, it goes back to Morpheus being alone, and then going back again to when Clarikin broke the rules, and that fucked up. Now he has a nemesis. You got to follow the rules, and you got to be alone. And in Morpheus's world, that's the best things to him. And by the end of the story, that's not him anymore, though.
Yeah, I like that. I like that at the end, they were you either change or you die.
Exactly.
And so he chose death.
It's a lesson for life. You either change or you die. You adapt.
Yeah, you adapt or you die.
Exactly.
And even if we're not talking in a brutal sense, if you go through life unchanged, eventually you're going to die, but the world will have already left you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I forgot which character says it, or maybe it's just narration, or someone says everything changes, but nothing is truly lost. I like that idea.
Yeah. It's almost like Dr. Manhattan's nothing ever ends.
Yeah. Honestly, after having, I really needed this in this time. It just really hit me hard in my soul. It was just a brilliant book. And honestly, probably one of the most impactful comic books on my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% agree.
And it's also just no matter how I feel from each volume to volume to volume, whether I think one is weaker than the other, it's one of the most it's one of the smarter graphic novels I've ever read.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So much thought went into it.
Yeah.
And I
one
like
of the more
that
intelligent ones, and super it's emotional intelligence, if anything.
Yeah. I feel like you could give this series to anyone who likes to read, especially even people who don't in any shape of way like modern comics in the sense that they superheroes and all of like the more mainstream stuff, but you could give the Sandman to almost anybody who just loves good stories and they would be thrilled getting through it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me think of a line that Shakespeare says in the story at the end where he's talking to a friend and his friend's like, well, I've traveled here and there. I know people. And Shakespeare's like, I'm a person that's lived. I think I know people too. I know what humanity is. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way, like if I think anyone can relate to any of the themes in the book, everyone dreams. Like that's such a huge part of the book. Everyone dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't dream? Like there's something, there would probably be something mentally wrong with you if you didn't dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this too? Neil Gaiman said one way you could sum up the Sandman is by this phrase: the cost of getting what you want is having what you once wanted.
Wait, can you say that again?
That's a brilliant. That man is too smart.
Yeah. So the line is from Neil Gaiman himself. It says, the cost of getting what you want is having what you once wanted. And I think a character says it in Sandman too. It like sounded so familiar when he said it, but yeah, it kind of that one hit me too.
That's a great line.
It's like you could dream of something, but what happens once you get it? Like, what does it become? Like it's
exactly. Nightmare. What does it mean? It's like the romanticizing and the desire of like, I feel maybe that's why like desire and dream were always at such odds because the desire of something and dream of something and like wanting of something is like such a powerful, it's a sensation that moves people to act. You know what I mean? It's such a powerful thing.
We see it over and over in all the volumes. We see people do that.
And then, but having what you want is not, sure, it's cool to accomplish, but having what you want isn't the same as dreaming, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think if anyone has tried to do something in life, like something hard, something like huge, that's like feels bigger than yourself. And if you accomplish even a little of it, like, I don't know, it leaves a certain feeling. Like, I'm not saying I lived my dream, but I got to perform stand up at like I got to do, you've done it way more than me and Jake, but like just going on stage even once was like a dream of mine. I think it's a big first step. And I think like, having done it, it kind of is like, that's where it becomes like the test of like, do you want to keep going and do this? Like, is this really your dream or is it just something that like you wanted to try out?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. So I don't know. It's just such like a deep, insightful story. I loved the like conversation that he and Death had right before they held hands and stuff.
In volume 10, right?
Yes. Yeah. I just like the whole, I don't know. It was just such a great story. I don't know. Like it just, everything, like it really, that conversation in particular was like when he felt, to me at least, like the most human. Like he wasn't like, he knew what he had to do. You know what I mean? And like maybe potentially, we don't know, but maybe he could have stopped it. But he knew that this had to be done. And that's why like he did the setup with Daniel and I don't know. But like the conversation he had with his sister, I just loved that like he's volume 10, he was like the most human he's been the entire series.
Yeah, you mean when he fuses with Daniel basically or before that?
Before that. And then I like that when
perfect
he does
fusion.
Like I like that. So he's volume 10. He starts out as this like cold monster. You know what I mean? Basically, like a force of nature that has no feelings. By the end of it, lots of people are calling him friends. Lots of people. Like he's really like people loved him. You know what I mean?
Even fucking Darkseid is at his funeral. What the fuck?
Darkseid, man.
Darkseid probably had the craziest dreams. Yeah, I have no doubt that Darkseid would have actually, now that like if you really think about it, after what we've read of everything of the Sandman, like it doesn't Darkseid would dream and probably meet the Sandman in his dreams, make some kind of a deal with him, you know?
Yeah.
The Sandman would be like, sure, I don't care. And he's like, I'm just going to take over the universe. Like,
yeah,
sure, do it.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah, for sure. He was like, I don't know, Darkseid from Apocalypse, just taking a break from torturing and creating parademons
to go pay his respects.
Yeah. But even like Clark Kent, and it was not even Superman, it was Clark Kent, Martian Manhunter, and Batman.
Yeah.
Like you saw them there, and I think like Clark
Constantine.
Kent and and there's like a quick line between Clark Kent and Batman, and he's like, "You ever have dreams where you're like in a weird TV show?" And Batman's like, "Yeah," and then Martian Manhunter's like, "Not me."
That's funny
because they all were on TV shows, but Martian Manhunter never had his own TV show.
Yeah,
at least not at that point.
Well, by that point, it would have only been the old 1970s Justice Friends, which Martian Manhunter was not on. So
or it would be like the Adam West one, or
like, that's what I mean, like shit like that. Well,
yeah. And so I loved how in volume 10, it was super meta. Like you, the reader, were one of the characters in the book.
Yeah. So does that mean
not 10, 11 rather?
Does that mean we were dreaming? Like, does that mean like we were dreaming? Like, are we supposed to have are we walking through a dream, reading all these stories and like seeing all these things happen?
So basically, in volume 11, during the wake, it includes you as the character. You're not sure that it's you, but the very last page it like makes it abundantly clear of the wake issue.
Yeah, because it's like they woke up, he woke up, and then you woke up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it talks about how you may not remember this You're like, we don't have to go through at one point in time, there's a line where they're like, we don't have to go through every little detail because you were there. You may not remember it because you're in the waking world right now, but you were there in the dreaming.
That's cool.
And
so
dude, I don't know.
Stay woke, bro.
Are you saying maybe that's why woke people are so shitty because they're never in the dreaming.
Exactly. Who do you think would win, a woke like SJW or the Sandman?
Or Lord Shaper?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough battle for sure.
Damn, yeah. How do you beat someone who's constantly awake?
Yeah.
He has no power.
They stay woke.
The dreaming has no effect on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they also have no imaginations.
So I feel like the main question is, dude, what are we overall giving the entire run of the Sandman as far as Joe Pesci's go?
The entire run gets a 6 for me. That's a no-brainer.
I would say so,
dude. 6 no-brainer for me, dude. It's dude. Even
though there were volumes that I didn't necessarily like as much as others, overall it's still incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And the thing is, those volumes that were weaker, he made them worth the read when he tied all the loose ends together and stuff. True. You know what I mean? In my opinion, like, I don't think there's any like other comics other than maybe like things like Watchmen and maybe like Frank Miller's Batman or whatever. Maybe, and the thing that the edge that those have is they're much shorter stories.
Right. This is a 75 issue behemoth.
Yeah, I've never read a series this big that's been this powerful, like, and it impacted me this much from start to finish. I can only think of one off the top of my head, but we'll do an episode about that in the future.
What was it, though?
Saga.
I feel like Saga doesn't hold a candle to this. I mean, I like Saga.
I haven't read Saga, but I would imagine it doesn't hold a candle.
So not holding a candle, I completely disagree, but I will say Sandman is better.
Oh, yeah, without question. I thought it was funny, Jake, that you just said, like how certain volumes, like we just didn't like them, but we could still because I felt the same way. Like I didn't like some volumes, but it didn't like bring down the whole story. But like there's another quote from Neil Gaiman where he's like, in previous issues, what happened in the story was never very important. What mattered was how what happened affected the story's characters. Which makes sense, like there were so many kind of like one shots where it's like, what really happened? Like we saw how Dream affected these characters. So it's like, okay, that tracks with me, but like sometimes it was just very forgettable.
Yeah.
much like a dream. Ho ho.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, and like I will like. There's not even a fraction of a Joe Pesci that I would subtract, even with the weaker volumes. It's just, in my opinion, like one of the best things in comic book history.
Dude, what if Joe Pesci was shaped by the Dreamer? It was shaped by Morpheus.
I was gonna say Joe Pesci should be Merv the Pumpkin. That he should do the voice for him.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
right? I could see it.
He probably could be a good few things, honestly, like in the Sandman series.
He would do a good Matthew just because he has like a.
I was going to say Matthew.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I could see maybe even he'd look old, but Kane.
Oh, like Abel, Cain and Abel. Yeah,
Cain and Abel. I think he could be Kane.
He could be Kane in personality, but he looks more like an Abel.
Yeah, but it's, it's
yeah. I thought a crazy like throwaway was like maybe not a throwaway, but they only really mention it once, where Matthew is like trying to figure out why like all the ravens had come like before like anything was happening. It's like, why are they all going to the dreaming? And he has a conversation with Lucian, and Lucian says, I was the first raven.
Yeah.
But we also know that the first raven was the first man. So Lucian might be Adam. Like, they're not saying it explicitly, but the first man is Adam, and if the first raven is the first man, then it can only be one.
And they have all of those original biblical figures in the story, so it's very possible that Lucian is Adam. I didn't think about that until you brought it up, but that's crazy.
Take it one step further. Lucian is all like about knowledge. Right? Like he has all the books that were always dreamed. What did Adam do? No, Adam ate from the tree of knowledge. So of course he has all that knowledge.
For a moment, you blew Jake's mind. I saw Jake processing that line correctly. I saw it over his face, and he was just like, God.
That's what I thought you were going. I was like, oh shit, Lucian's God.
No, but they drop so many biblical references. They even, I forget which character says it, but he's like, why Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, right? It's like, yeah, God was mad that they ate from the tree of knowledge. It's like, no, in the Bible it says that he didn't want them to eat from the tree of life and become immortal, so he kicked them out. That's crazy. That's not something Neil Gaiman made up. That's like a real thing. Like, that's what it says.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I don't know. I never read the Bible.
Yeah, me either. But that's why it's.
I just loved the conversation between Reba and
Reba, the famous TV star back in the day.
Yes, Reba McEntire.
Yeah, Reba
McEntire. I love the conversation between Reba McEntire and Lucifer Morningstar.
Yes. Oh, yes, dude. Reba McEntire, because Lucifer Morningstar is a redhead, could play Lucifer.
Dude, wouldn't that be sick though?
Hey, y'all. Lucifer.
Reba McEntire is Lucifer Morningstar.
That works. That totally works.
Oh man,
Lucifer did come back, but he was like, he just plays piano in a bar.
Yeah, he was just chilling, living that life in LA. He's like, fuck it.
Dude, wasn't it crazy when Hippolyta broke that dude's arm when he was putting the moves on her?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she's like so deadpan about it.
Well, I forget. They say she used to be a superhero back in the day.
Yeah, she used to be the Fury or something like that.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
I feel like Jones was a ripoff of her,
but with a WandaVision-esque helm.
Yeah, she kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Nice, dude. I saw the Sopranos movie.
How was it?
Should I watch it?
No, I mean, yeah, if you want to like see how terrible it is, dude. It was. It was bad. Not even, you could almost not even be a fan of The Sopranos. It was like weirdly put together. Like it felt very sloppily put together.
I saw somebody tweet saying it felt like they just like halfway through it, they were like, listen, this is really expensive. Let's wrap this up. So they just did a bunch of fan service afterwards.
I could see that. It was also just like there were too many. There's like this one character who like it ended on him, and I was like, who? Like, why is this guy significant? Like, what? There's just like a weird. It was terrible, honestly. David Chase though came out before our movie started, he's like, hey, thanks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's like, thanks, guys, for coming to watch The Sopranos in theaters. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the film, blah, blah, blah. And then the movie just sucked. Dude, this one guy, as soon as it ended, this one dude started to clap, and when no one joined in on it with him, he just like stopped. The dude next to me loved it. This like random fucking loser. He's like, man,
this fucking loser.
He's like, this movie.
Different taste in me, so he fucking sucked.
Dude, he's like, this movie was 2 hours, but it felt like 2 minutes. That's how you know it's a great movie. And I was
What?
like, yeah. Like, I was like, I don't agree with that. Me and my friend.
So let me ask you this: if I've never seen The Sopranos, should I watch it, or like will it spoil things for me?
No, it won't spoil fucking anything. It just sucks. The only thing that'll spoil is 2 hours of your time.
Your appetite.
yeah, your appetite for
Your
film.
I wouldn't want any gabagool after.
It was really disappointing. Dude, I wish there was gabagool. Like, it was also like, dude, because Sopranos, the original show, a lot of their actors were Italian. Not a lot of these actors were Italian. So I thought, honestly, a lot of their was very inauthentic, you know?
Gotcha, yeah.
It felt like a British actor trying to do like an Italian. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, The Sopranos has an authenticity that you can't match.
Because everyone there is at least Italian, you know?
Right.
James Gandolfini, like all those guys.
All I'm saying is I'm really disappointed to hear that David Chase didn't dream of a better story.
Yeah, it was weird. It felt like it was a kid's final film in film school in college.
I actually read something similar.
Like, that's honestly, I was like, David Chase, like the man who created 6 amazing seasons of Sopranos, like he wrote this? It did not feel like it. It felt like a fucking idiot wrote it. So I was just like blown away. I was like, yeah, we know you're a good writer. What happened here? But you might be right that they had to budget and they were just like, let's wrap this shit up. It was all over the place. Sorry, I know there's a tangent, but that's how bad. That's how bad it was. Is I had to like.
Yeah, apparently it only made like what $5 million, and it cost like.
Well, it's also they released it on HBO Max also, so
yeah, true.
It's not gonna.
Man, Venom destroyed the box office. It like is the highest grossing pandemic movie. I mean, obviously, I can't say ever. Like whatever from the past year.
Yeah,
that's insane to me.
Yep. Even more than Black Widow and Shang-Chi, so watch out, MCU.
Yeah, they're going to start sacrificing quality for movies like Venom.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, guys, I got to get to work.
All right. Well, then that's about wraps it up for
that concludes
our trip to the Dreaming.
Yeah.
Our trip to the Dreaming.
That concludes Sandman September.
Yeah. Dude,
man,
I'm kind of like I mean,
I'm glad like, what are we going to read now?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's hard. Yeah, that's how I felt today when I finished the series.
Yeah,
I was like, "What next? What next?"
Yeah, I felt like Matthew, like he wasn't sure if the new Sandman was his dude. He's like, "You're not my friend. Don't say that." You know, it's like, what do I do next?
Anthony, you gonna turn it to Matthew?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna become a Raven, and then I'm gonna have my own Disney show called That's So Raven.
I like that Matthew became the advisor, the young dreamer.
Just like Kevin over there is your advisor.
Kevin is my advisor.
Cody, I don't think you heard that. That's So Raven joke. That was hilarious.
I did not. I missed it.
You'll laugh about it later.
Yeah, you'll laugh later.
Oh, I can't wait. But I love you guys. I gotta go.
All right. Peace out, man.
Well, that concludes Sandman September. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jacob H. As always, I'm joined with Anthony Anacho and Cody Walaka-Cannon.
And Kevin.
And Kevin. And if you like this episode, please tell your friends about it. Click like, subscribe. We got tons of cool shit. You can follow us on Instagram at comics, the letter N, chronic, as well as on Twitter, same exact thing. And
TikTok.
Tick Tizzy. We're on there. Look at dude. Kevin looks like he's just dude. Oh shit! This is like the cat in the dream world. What if Kevin?
Yeah, he's like, I'm dreaming of being a podcast.
Yeah. Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jacob H.
I'm Cody Cannon,
and I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics and Chronic. That's Comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.